and traveling with Sudhir Madhava Prabhu, who's somewhere around here. He takes care of everything, so we don't have to think, which I have trouble doing anyway. And we're attracted here by the profound devotion of His Grace Radha Shyam Prabhu and Kanai Thakur and all the assembled devotees. Thank you for dedicating your lives for the Sankirtan movement. There's really nothing else important in the world. There are many good causes, but there's only one great cause, and that's Lord Chaitanya's cause, because nobody is better than Lord Chaitanya. And if anybody dedicates his or her life to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet, which is not that hard, it just means to stop suffering in the material world for a moment and engage oneself in service to his lotus feet by spreading the Sankirtan movement, then one will be happy in the moment in this lifetime, which is impossible. Nobody in the world is happy. The billionaires are the most unhappy because they have the most to lose. And the only people who are happy are the servants of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who are engaged in the Sankirtan movement, because that's the Yuga Dharma. That's what we're meant to be doing at this time in this period of the universe. And when you're aligned with that, then everything goes right. Kanai Prabhu, you want to say something? Okay. So today, since we have a very short amount of time, just to introduce myself, my name is Vaiśeṣika Das. I'm your servant, and I like book distribution. I like devotees who do book distribution. I like leaders who advocate for book distribution. And I like ever-increasing book distribution scores. I have my own, I don't have my own personal likes and dislikes, but it's what Prabhupada liked, so I like it too. And Haribo, so I like all of you. And today, I'll be giving a few thoughts about book distribution, some encouragement, because Prabhupada said every devotee has his or her own genius how to do this. Living entities are smart because they're part of Krishna, and Krishna's the smartest. So we can figure anything out. All you have to have is a little sincerity, and I needed that. I really did. Thank you. You just have to have a little sincerity and some enthusiasm, and Krishna will do the rest. So here are a few thoughts about book distribution. One is that if you pray to Prabhupada, then you'll get the intelligence how to do this. Praying to Prabhupada and to Lord Chaitanya is the main way that you can expand the Sankirtan movement. When I first joined the temple in San Francisco, I washed pots for 3 months, the happiest time of my life. And I didn't think I could get any happier until my temple commander, Krita Karma Prabhu, tapped me on the shoulder one day, and I took my apron off to talk to him, and he said, "Would you like to do something that's even more pleasing to Prabhupada?" I said, "Yes, of course." And he told me about book distribution. It's the first time I had heard that Prabhupada liked it. So they sent me out to distribute books, and at first I just watched and I tried to figure it out. But then I came up with a plan, which was to go to the book room. And I had heard that devotees were distributing a certain number of books. And I thought, how is it possible? So I piled up that number of books in front of me. And I would sit there and chant my japa to the books. And while I was chanting, I'd pray that, Krishna, please show me how to distribute this many books. And by that prayer, somehow or other, one step after another, I was able to figure it out. So if you want to know how to do book distribution, you have to pray. And you have to pray hard. So what do you have to do? And how should you pray? Pray hard. So here's our legacy. Who are we following? We're in the sampradaya of the book. Which sampradaya are we in? I couldn't hear you. The sampradaya of the Get used to saying book. Everyone say book. Book. 3 times. Like military. Put a little more into it. Where's the enthusiasm? Book, 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 go. That's right. When you wake up, when you hear the Brahmacharya Ashram in the morning, here's what you should do. Go. Yeah, when you're in the shower, you'll hear. And from every Grahasta's home, you hear all the kids going. That's right. Prabhupada did it. He said, where is book? Where is book? Where is book? He was saying, book, book, book. We're the sampradaya of the book. Here's the proof. Who's that sitting on the lotus? What's he holding in his hand? Come on, say it the way I told you to say it. That's right. Why? This picture comes, it's an authorized picture. There are no books at that time, but it represents what we do. We pass on the knowledge of the sampradaya. Brahma passed it on to Narada. Narada passed it on to Vyasa. It comes down to us. That's our job. We're supposed to pass it on to everyone and anyone. Now, who's this? What's he writing? Correct. Who's this? What's he holding in his hand? Correct. Who's this? What's he kneeling before? Correct. Who's this? What's he writing? Correct. Who's this? What are they famous for? Who's that? What's he posing with? Who's this? What's he posing with? Correct. Who's this? I just noticed this about this picture. What's next to him? What a revelation. If you put it all together, you can understand that what we're doing is following the footsteps of the great Acharyas. They produce literature for the world. It's meant for the emancipation of all beings. Maya Bugda Jivara Nahi Sota Krishna Gyan Jivara Kripaya Kola Krishna Veda Puran. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from his lotus mouth said it to Srila Sanatana Goswami. He says, people are not going to wake up automatically. They need the intervention of Srila Vyasadeva. Tadvag visargo janataga viplavo. In order to flip their life, viplava, they have to have this information. And human beings, they're really smart. They're smarter than beavers and mongooses. And beavers and mongooses are really smart. But human beings are at least 1,000,000 times smarter because they can figure out the origin of everything by hearing from the Srimad Bhagavatam. That's how smart they are. How smart are they? How smart are humans? They're smarter than it's not mongoose, it's mongooses. You don't say mongoose. Who are they smarter than? Mongooses are smart. They know how to kill a cobra. Do you know how to kill a cobra? No, they're smart. But what's the prime intelligence that drives the human being? You can understand what? The cause of all causes, the origin of everything. So everyone walking around in a human body is smart enough to figure it out. They just need a book in their hand. And that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. Maya Mugda Jivana Nahi Swata. It doesn't come automatically. They have to have an intervention. So when you put a book in their hand, they're getting a knowledge intervention. It's called a KI. It's a new thing. I just made it up. So we want knowledge intervention. This sampradaya, the word means the complete gift. People are getting substandard everything. If you look around what everyone's trying to create in the cities and through advertising, it's all substandard. Nobody really likes it. They're all wishing for more. Only the sampradaya can deliver the complete gift. Om Purnam Adah Purnamidam. It's Krishna everyone wants. And all forms of incompleteness are experienced due to incomplete knowledge of the complete whole. So until they get a Sri Upanishad in their hand, they're going to feel incomplete. Yes or yes?
Yes.
Only half of you responded. Yes or yes?
Yes.
They need a Sri Upanishad. Who needs a Sri Upanishad? Everybody. They're humans. They can read it. They can understand Om Purnamada Purnamidam. and their lives will be complete. They'll be happy with a little kitri, a little achar, place to lie down at night, and a bead bag, and a little service, and maybe a papadum. Then they're happy. Otherwise not. Everyone's going to be working hard, and whatever they get is substandard. What's the material world? Substandard. Bhumir apo anuvayu kammano buddhirevcha hankara itiyama bina prakritir ashtara. What are those energies? Substandard. Aparayamitasthanyam prakritim vidimi param jiva bhuta mahabaho ya yedam darite jagat. What's the living being? It's the higher energy. Just needs to be reconnected, that's all. And how do they reconnect? A KI. What's a KI? Knowledge intervention. You got to work with me today. What's a KI? Knowledge intervention. And what are we distributing? Books. That's correct. Okay, we're the Sampradaya book. Prabhupada got this instruction from his Guru Maharaj. This is unequivocal. He said, if you ever get money, print books. What did Prabhupada do? He printed books. As soon as he got money, he didn't have any money. But when they put together a little bit of money, he and his early disciples, he bought a house. Why did he buy a house and not books? Anybody know? This for 50 points. Why did he buy a house? Not store the books, to print the books. What did he put in the house? The first house bought in ISKCON was on Beacon Street, that's a sign, in Boston. And why did he buy the house? Because he put a printing press inside, and it was so heavy, they had to bring in the devotee engineer and reinforce the floor to hold the printing press. Prabhupada's guru told him, if you ever get money, print books. He got money, and what did he do? He bought a house, and he bought a printing press, and he put it in the house. And then he had 10 disciples in New York City who were apprenticing to learn how to use printing presses. And he sent them out to all the different printers in the city to learn a different aspect of printing. Prabhupada followed this instruction. If you ever get money, print books. And he put that printing press to work as soon as possible to print books. Then Prabhupada said, I took it up from his mouth that he is very fond of books. And twat padapotena mahat kritena. If one finds out the mood and method of the Acharya and say, I'll just follow that, and one becomes a stita dir muni. Regular munis, they speculate about what's good for them and what's the right thing to do or not to do. But the stita dir muni figures out what the MAHAT thinks. And what the MAHAT feels and said, that's what I'm going to do. So, see, we talk about books, and books immediately come, they're pouring from the sky. That's how it works. So we can take this up, and it means taking from the lotus mouth. Now, Prabhupada writes in the second canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, he says, the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a manifestation of his internal potency. And it is by that potency that one comes to see the Lord face to face. If you take up from the lotus mouth of the Acharya, what the Acharya likes, and you just follow that, then you come to see Krishna face to face. That's called high sadhana. The sadhana that leads you straight to Krishna. So here we have a marketplace. What is the market? Yeah, in fact, we did an analysis recently after the Bhadra campaign. Ours is a multinational effort. We're a one world team. We are in more spots than Google, Salesforce, all the big companies we measured. They're in fewer countries and locations than we are. So we've got them cornered. We've got them on the run. We just have to increase. This is our marketplace. And Srila Prabhupada went to work right away before he even came to America. He started following the order of his spiritual master, and he put together Easy Journey to Other Planets, and then he started working on the Srimad Bhagavatam, and he had 3 volumes of the first canto. And look what he says here on this pamphlet. It says 60 volumes of elaborate English version. How many volumes did he have right at this point? 3 only, but he said 60 volumes. Elaborate English version. That was Prabhupada's vision as he began. And then he says, all over the world for scientific knowledge of God. Prabhupada was in one little room in Radha Damodar. And he said, all over the world. That means Prabhupada's vision was cover the earth. And Prabhupada had this vision that was the Lord's vision. Here's the Lord's plan in essence. I want everyone to be immersed in the inundation of love of Godhead. Who said that? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Adi Leela, he said, I want everyone to be immersed in this inundation of love of Godhead. What does immersed mean? Aryan, what does immersed mean? Look it up. Does somebody have a smartphone they can look it up? Look up the word immerse. Quick, quick, quick. We want the etymology of it because we want to know what we're trying to do, right? Who has it? Immerse. Okay. What does it mean? I want the etymology too. It means to enclose. We're closing in on them. Give more.
This is to plunge into.
More. What else is that?
Envelop completely. And that is dip into. Dip into. Sink.
Where's the word come from? Etymology.
It comes from the late Latin immersionem.
Immersione, everyone say it.
Immersionem.
What are we trying to achieve in the world? Immersione. Speak a little Latin, come on.
Immersione.
Immersione. We're not some isolated little thing out in the middle of nowhere. What we want is immersion. Immersione. Say it with some feeling.
Immersionem.
That's what we're looking for. And, go ahead.
It means to plunge in, dip
Plunge.
in. To plunge in, dip into, sink, submerge.
We want to submerge the whole world. Listen to it again now. I want everyone to be immersed in this inundation of love of Godhead. That's what Lord Chaitanya said. That's our mission, right? Everyone immersed. They plunge in, cover them, envelop them. Yes or yes? Yes. Here's Prabhupada's plan. You heard Lord Chaitanya's plan, right? Yes? Yes. Here's Prabhupada's plan. By printing books, we can actually inject our movement into the masses of people all over the world. Now, do you see the parallel nature of these two plans? Or the practicality of it? Lord Chaitanya said, immerse everyone. Prabhupada said, we'll do this by injecting our literatures into the masses of people all over the world. Masses. Srila Prabhupada, a letter to Shukadev, 13 December 1972. I like this idea of distributing books and preaching. That is Lord Chaitanya's plan. Would you like to read it together? Yes. Okay, go. Yes, and if you're a leader of any kind, all you have to do is repeat this mantra. If someone says, what are you thinking about these days? You can say, that's all you have to do. Somebody say, what are you thinking about these days? And you can say, you'll be perfectly situated because that's Prabhupada's plan. That's what he wrote in a letter. He committed to it in writing. So here we have the way to involve everyone in the community. It's to make book distribution fun. And I'm going to teach you a mantra right now that will give you great relief and encouragement for the rest of your life. And you can pass it on to as many people as you like. Are you ready? Yeah. Please repeat after me. Book distribution, is fun and easy. Book distribution is fun and easy. Everybody together. It should be organized and everyone's welcome. So our prime directive when we go out for book distribution is to leave everyone with a good impression. Okay, now I'm going to give you a quiz. Are you ready? Yes. Our prime directive is everyone has to take a book. No. Okay, 2 people got it right. You get 20 points each. Our prime directive in going out is to collect Lakshmi. No. Okay, everybody gets 20 points. Our prime directive in going out is to just get away from the temple. Well, maybe. Yeah. Our prime directive is to leave everyone with a good impression. Yes. If you go out with the idea that I'll leave everyone with a good impression, then you'll be in a mood in which people will be attracted to you. Don't think everyone's going to take a book. They're not. Just make friends. Interact with people in a way that they'll think, I just met a saintly person, and I wish I could meet them again. If you could do that as you go out the door, you'll feel very happy yourself because that's achievable, and it's something that's mentioned in the Shastra. Krishna says, one who is a kind friend to all living beings is very dear to me. So be a kind friend. Okay, then we go out for? Yeah, if you do that, then you'll never be disappointed because there's a angst, a spiritual angst we get when we walk out the door because we think, oh, what's going to happen? We should live in that area where we feel like, I don't know what's going to happen. I have to depend on Krishna. And therefore, as I'm walking out the door to do book distribution, what am I doing? I'm going, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Preaching means? Yeah, we're going out there to give something on behalf of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it's the perfect gift. It's already packaged for us. When somebody gets a transcendental literature, it goes into their house, they read it, their family reads it, they pass it on to friends, and it changes each person's life. We may not see what happens, the chain of events, but it happens. And the more we do it, the more people get the opportunity to come to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet. Here's a ritual that helps very much. You're all veterans here. I'm just giving some encouragement because you only know these things. This whole area, Pune, under the direction of Radhesham Prabhu, is famous for book distribution. So I'm not telling you anything you don't know. But here's a ritual that we came up with years ago that helps the general mass of devotees to go out on book distribution. First, it's fun, it's organized, and we don't put any expectation on people to produce when they go out or to perform. As most people are thinking, if I go out on book distribution, then I'm going to have to perform. And if I don't perform, then I'll be looked at as an inferior person. What if I make a mistake? What if nobody takes a book? What if? So we tell everyone we're not going out to distribute books. All we're going to do today, our only goal is to organize where we're going, get in the group that I'm supposed to be in to go to a spot, and when we get there, you see what everyone's doing? They get their right foot on the pavement. They just touch the pavement like this, they're done for the day. They don't have to do anything else. And we do this all over the world. You see, we have hundreds of pictures of communities going out, and they get there and they touch the pavement and they say, now we're done. We don't have to do anything else. And in that mood that now I'm finished, they start thinking about, okay, maybe I'll try something because it's just extra. There's nothing required of me. I've done my duty. And this is the way to get lots and lots of devotees to come, is to take the pressure off them. And it's not just a ploy. It's really, we want everyone in the community to feel what it's like to commit to enough that they walk out the door with the group and then touch the pavement, and then they can just watch or help from behind the scenes. And that's how people get caught up into book distribution. They get addicted to it. Treat people with respect. Doesn't matter who they are. We should see, according to the Sri Upanishad, Yastu Sarvani Bhutani Atmani Vanu Pashuti, Sarva Bhuteshu Chatmanam We know each other well now. You can finish my sentences for me. I'm going to say it again and you finish the sentence. Yastu sarvadi bhutani atmani vanupashyati sarva bhuteshu chatmanam tato na vijagupsate. You all got to learn the Sri Upanishad. It takes only a month to learn the whole thing. It's only 18 verses. So this verse says, Anupashyati, you should follow the footsteps of the Uttama Adhikaris who see everybody as a soul. Don't imitate them, Prabhupada said, but do follow them. Anupashyati, you should scientifically observe people in the world and say they're spirit souls, and therefore, Vijagupsati, I don't hate anybody. I'm not averse to anybody. I respect them because they're souls. So this is an enlightened service to go out and see all living beings, whether human or animal, and treat them with great respect. Okay? Yes. Oops. I just ruined the whole presentation. Okay, here we go. Offer kind words. People are jangled. Do you know what jangled means? Huh? They're highly disturbed, right? The material energy is very disturbing. And so people need a little solace. So give them kind words. You're meeting people that don't have Mangalartik, they don't have Sandesh, they don't have devotee friends, no Kitri, no Achar, no Papadam. And so they need a little bit of kindness. We should be kind, a kind friend to all living beings. If you meet an animal out there, you should be kind to the animal and say, you know, we appreciate that you're walking around the planet. Hare Krishna, give them a little something. Treat living beings with kindness. Offer kind words. And listen to people. It's not all about just telling, but you also have to listen to people and understand what they're thinking. Don't be condescending. In fact, this is my main technique for approaching people. And it's according to Shastra. When we meet people, we put them on the Vyasasana and we get down and say, please teach me. And what's people's aversion to meeting you on the street? Why would they be averse to it? Because we're going out to intervene in people's lives, and they know it. When they see you with a book bag and standing there in the corner, it's quite an obvious scenario to the subconscious mind of each passerby. They're thinking, this person thinks I'm messed up, and they're going to fix me with their religion. And that's true. That's what we're doing. So don't be like that when you meet them. Be very kind, gentle, and put them on the Vyasasana. And I'll talk about that in a little while. The way to respect them and make them the authority. Don't condescend to them. Let them condescend to you. And appreciate them. Then they'll take the book. In fact, I'll give you a hint about a mantra that you can use to preface everything you say to people that helps put you in that advantageous position. And that is, as you know better than I. Can you say that? Before you tell somebody something, you can say to them, as you know better than I. Yeah. In fact, when I talk to Indians, I say to them, as you know better than I, Bhagavad Gita is the solution to all the world's problems. And your mother read Bhagavad Gita. Your grandmother memorized Bhagavad Gita. Because that's what they're about to tell me. And Indians especially feel guilty if you approach them with the Bhagavad Gita and you say, here, what goes through their mind, it's a psychological reaction. They think, I should be reading Bhagavad Gita, and this person is reminding me that I'm steeped in ignorance. So you have to approach them and put them on the Vyasasana and say, you know better, as you know better than I, and your mother read Bhagavad Gita, your grandmother memorized Bhagavad Gita. And then you can involve them in helping to spread Bhagavad Gita around the world by saying, We're trying to help people all over the world. You don't need help. You know all these things. But other people do need your help. And we're gathering together to do this. It's a much easier approach for people to handle than you need Bhagavad Gita, you really messed up, you know that you should be reading this, and so forth. That's condescension. So put them on the Vyasasana and be very humble. As Prabhupada mentions from a Shastric verse, you fall down on their leg and you say, you're the most intelligent person who ever lived. And then when they say, how can I serve you? You say, please forget everything else and just remember Lord Chaitanya. Okay, make people feel special. How do you do that? Is anybody special? You know my name, Vaiśeṣika, you know what it comes from? It comes from the word Vaiśeṣika. And what it means is, it's a name of Krishna, which means that everything in Krishna's creation is unique. There's not one living being that's the same as another. It's not cookie cutter. It's individual. And so every living being you're meeting has a history with Krishna that goes back since time immemorial. So if you treat everybody as a special being, they will respond to you. And now let's try it. Everyone close your eyes. Sit up straight. You're going to meditate here. Close your eyes. And imagine that everyone in this room has a sign around his or her neck that says, make me feel special. And I want you to think right now how you're going to make the person next to you when you open your eyes feel special. 3, 2, 1. Open your eyes. Turn to somebody next to you and make him feel special.
You're very good at appreciating everyone. It's a nice quality.
Doesn't that feel terrible? In fact, if in the community, if you make this your mainstay, find devotees doing something right. And they're doing something right. They showed up. What to speak if they're cooking or they're managing or they're carrying a box. If you take a moment to appreciate who's around you, now just extend that to the world. Every living being is unique, special, part of Krishna. And if you go out with this wonderment in your mind and your heart and you meet people, and all you do, this is the full technique, you're just like, wow, where'd you get that? Where'd you get that shirt? How'd you get that hairstyle? I'd like to have one too. If I had some hair, I'd make the hairstyle. The Brigapati, the famous book distributor in Los Angeles, been distributing for like 55 years. His main technique, that's the way he stops people. I mean, don't mind, but your hairstyle is really good. And I would have one too if I had any hair. People spend billions and billions of dollars on their hair, true or false? What sustains the economy all over the world? It's nail salons and hair. That's it. That's the main thing. So if you appreciate their hair, you appreciate their shirt. They thought about their shirt when they put it on in the morning. You know that? They looked in the mirror and said, does this make me look cool? Or do I look more like a nerd? How about these glasses? How long does it take people to pick out some glasses? A lot, because they're looking. It's like, do I look like Srila Bhaktisiddhanta here? Or should I get round? No, that'd be a little too pretentious. Maybe I'll make them a little square so nobody knows that I'm trying to look like Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. Whatever it may be, everyone thinks about the way they present themselves to the world. You have that advantage. You're a doctor, and you're going there, and you appreciate. It's like those glasses. No, really, where'd you get the glasses? That would be like, that's something they invested weeks on. The size of their face, the shape, how much they cost, rims, no rims, the whole thing. What color they are, does it bring out my eyebrows? And if you're the only one ever in their lives, and you will be, who walks up and says, where'd you get those glasses? They're going to really resonate with you because you make them feel special. Express gratitude, not just on Sankirtan, but all the time in the community, in your family. Take a moment to be grateful. When I wake up in the morning, I learned this from my godbrother. After I do a few prayers, I put my feet on the ground. I say a prayer to Mother Bhumi, then both feet on the ground. Before I stand up, I say, thank you, Srila Prabhupada. And then I feel open to the world because gratitude opens the heart. So if we're grateful, we express gratitude to everyone that we meet, find something to be grateful for. Our motto, always better service. Krishna is always looking for ways to serve his devotees. And that's our preoccupation, is always trying to do a little better service. So keep a book. And whenever you do a Sankirtan outing, look for the places where there's room for improvement. Write down what worked well, and then try to make a few improvements. We had this ethos at our little community out in California. I saw it on the back of a bread truck when I was driving to the temple one morning. It said, always better service. And I thought, let's adopt that as our main battle cry for our community. And so this is what makes sadhana exciting, is if you analyze your sadhana and you say, how could I make it a little bit better tomorrow, next week, before the next Ekadashi? And if you look at your Sankirtan team and say, where are the little gaps that I could fill before the next time? There's a paradigm that says, in an organization, when people in the organization feel that things are getting better, they do more than they're asked to do. When people feel that things are about the same, and they just stay the same on a plateau, then they do just what they have to do. And when people feel that things are degrading, then they want to quit, because they don't want to be part of a losing team. So when you attend to the little details, and like you all do here, I notice it whenever I come to Pune, somebody is looking and seeing where to fill the gaps. Like I saw these signs outside when we were at the temple the other day showing where all the programs are. You can just, at a glance. That's a thought process of always better service, how to accommodate people better. So that's one of the ethos principles, a principle to always keep on the upward trajectory. Think of yourself as an instrument. When we go out for book distribution, don't think, I'm doing this, I'm so smart. Just, Krishna, please use me in your service. Always remain. You'll have to finish this. Humble and hungry. Just always put yourself in a position to go for the next thing and stay very, very humble. I save one soul at a time. Yeah. And you see the image there. You know what it means, right? Everyone's flown on an airplane. They say, put your mask on before you put your child's mask on or your dependent's mask. And my friend Satyadev Prabhu, who worked as a paramedic for 20 years, said the first thing they taught him in paramedic school was that a dead paramedic cannot save anybody. And this is true for us. We're going out to save the world, but we have to save ourselves. That means you have to really want it, and you have to try hard. It's not time, it's taste. Excuse me. Okay, this is one of the most important parts of this presentation. If you forget everything else, remember this. We're going out to... So there's a spectrum of people that you're going to meet when you go out for book distribution, and it goes from 1 to 10. And from 1 to 5, it's a no-go. They're not going to take no matter what you do. And from 5.1 up to 10, you've got the ripe fruits. And some of them are at 10, they're ready to just come back to the temple with you and join the temple. That's a 10. And so how can you tell if a fruit is ripe? Well, you get used to judging it. I know avocados. I'm from California. I have avocado every day. And when I touch an avocado, I can tell immediately if it's ready, if it needs another day, 2 days, 3 days. So in our Shastra, Srimad Bhagavatam says, Ishvare taradineshu bali sheshu dusatsucha prema maitri kripopeksha. Yeah, the Madhyamadikari, that's all of you, the preachers going out. You have to be discriminatory, and you have to look for certain kinds of people and we call them ripe fruits. Bali Sheshu means they're open, they're ready to talk to you. They're 5.1 and above. Otherwise, if they're not Dvisheshu, you should be Upeksha. You should leave them on the vine. Now there's going to be a quiz on this in a minute, so please pay attention. Okay, here's a random person on the left who happened to walk into the Rath Yatra in New York City, circa 2005. We happened to snap the picture of this person. It's a genuine picture. This is a real incident. He just happened to be walking across, and he was so excited. He bought the books. He was engaged in service after that because he was so ripe. Now here's another picture. The person on the right. It's got unripe. Is this unripe? The look unripe? Can you see the body language? Okay, how about this? Okay, I'll show the picture and you say whether they're ripe or unripe. Are you ready? Because you have to be able to do this on the fly when you're on book distribution. Okay, what's this one? Okay, what's that? Now keep up. Keep up. Keep up. Keep up. That's how fast you have to be able to do it. To pick the ripe fruits, you have to be able to look and see who's ripe, who's unripe. And when it's a ripe fruit, you pick. If it's not a ripe fruit, you don't pick. So quiz. When you meet somebody and they say, no, I'm not interested, or they indicate by their body language that they're not interested, you should follow them down the street. Find out which car they get into. Follow them in a rickshaw until you get to their address, and then go back every day and knock on their door to ask them the same question if they'll take a book or not. True or false? False. Exactly. The Shastra enjoins that we should let them go because they're not ripe. That's Shastric. And if you follow Shastra and you select rather than try to convince, then you'll be happy for the rest of your life. You'll never be in anxiety when you go on Sankirtan. And you'll always be talking to the people that you should be talking to. And you can thank me later for saving you so much grief. Yes?
Because sometimes somebody appears to be arguing, demanding logic and reason. But when we spend some time, later on they turn out to be some of the best devotees.
Yeah, and that has to do with experience. When you're more experienced, then you can see the ins and the outs, and there may be some way to revive the person. But when we're doing general book distribution, starting at the discriminatory point where we more easily let people go, and then you gradually become more expert with more repetition and you see more opportunities. It's a better way to back into it and watch other people, because you'll learn things. Like I learned after some time that it's like, say if somebody says, I'm in a hurry. I used to just let them go. And then they say, I'm in a hurry. And I say, are you in a big hurry? And they go, yeah, I'm in a big hurry. Then I ask another question. I say, you want the 5-second version? And so they're not a ripe fruit because they said they're in a hurry, but there is a mitigation point. And if they say, I'll take the 5-second version, they'll usually take the book. Because what they're saying, I don't have time. So I want to engage and I want to be rude, but I'm in a hurry, that kind of thing. So you plump up your resume over time. But in the beginning, being more liberal about letting people go, or maybe that's conservative, then the more you stay in the flow and you look for people that are more open. And that's better for those who are beginning book distribution. But yes, when you get expert, as that grows, you'll find little ways to pull people in, and you'll also see reversals. And you get more points for that, just like in wrestling. If you're down and then you flip the other person over, it's a Vaishnav sport, Prabhupada said, so I can talk about it. Then you get more points because you turn something around. So that comes with experience, right? Okay, so goals are potent. And when you set clear goals, Prabhupada said to Karandar Prabhu, a GBC, an early GBC and leader in our movement, that you should always create a fresh challenge for everyone in the community so they want to rise up and meet it. Fresh challenge. So when you have these clear goals, you have something to live for. Where attention goes, you can remember this, that wherever you're placing your attention, that's where your energy is going to go. A lot of people each doing? Yes, get the whole community and everyone's invited. There's something for everyone in Sankirtan. Means some people can help with backup, some people can help donating if they don't have time to go out. Other people can go out, help carry the books. Other people can directly distribute books. Sankirtan is? Correct, yes.
Previous one is, what's the meaning on the previous slide? Is it different varieties of books, is it?
Yes.
There is something for everyone.
Yes. There's something for everyone. We should be equipped to make sure that we can accommodate everyone. For instance, if you're going to a place where you know that people have certain dialects, make sure you have those with you. And also make sure you have the wherewithal to sell a book in their language, which I'll demonstrate right now for variety's sake. Sudhira, could you come up here, please? Bring your stuff. I'll show you how we distribute books in all the DOMs and how we teach devotees who are brand new at book distribution, who don't speak the local language, to have about a 99.9% success ratio in distributing books. How one of the kids who comes to our yatras and readings, his name is Madhav, he lives in Mayapur, distributed over 10,000 books in 3 months using this technique. And how he started a Sankirtan party called Chaitanya's Minions of kids in Mayapur who can do this technique. I introduce to you Sudhir Madhava Prabhu. Make him feel special, why don't you? That's special? That's ordinary. Come on. We do this for all the people in your satsangs. Make them feel special. In your temple, make everyone feel special. Give them a standing ovation. They made it to the human form of life. That's pretty good, right? What to speak of then they became a devotee. Okay, so now let's just say, we'll all have Sudhir Madhava. Show us what we do. Now imagine we're wearing shoes right now, and you back up just a little bit. Okay, now what we do, first of all, in all our forms of book distribution, the first thing is to make a conscious contact with people. And consciousness of the soul, the consciousness of the soul, radiates from their eyes. So if you look at somebody's eyes right now, if you dare to, try it, just see what it feels like. You're looking at me, right? Okay. Don't everybody look at me, look at somebody else. Because what's coming out from your eyes, it's not a light beam. It's practically indescribable. It's a beam of consciousness. And in fact, if you're in America, if you're riding on the freeway and you look out your window at somebody driving next to you, they go, "What?" Because that glance of Mahavishnu starts the whole universe. All he does is look, and then boom, the whole universe starts. And so a glance is not an ordinary thing. And what we do is we're looking at the soul through the eyes. And so when you make a conscious contact with somebody, you just look and you see their eyes. And then their face, which is the index of the mind, will, like AI, there's some AI thing connection. It's to broadcast what is in their the level of consciousness they're in now. The face, through AI, it then contorts in a certain way. Like this is a contortion. And it means I'm happy to see you. Right? Here's another contortion. I'm not so happy to see you. This is open. This is closed. This is a fake opening. Smile, no teeth. We could write a whole book about all the different visions, but you get used to that and make a conscious contact with people if you see them. And here's one way to do this. Look at people in the eye and do like that. Everyone do it to somebody. Look at somebody and do it. This is universal. Nowadays you'll even see politicians, comedians, they get up on stage and they go like this. People accept it. They know what it means. It means I'm being humble. I'm open to you. I'm not claiming a credit for any of this. So this is universal. You can use it. So if you look at somebody in the eye and you go like that, if they go back like this, like we were walking in the park near Damodar Prabhu's house. What's it called? Magapatta. We went for a simple walk, but we brought our books. And we see a person walking across the lawn, and from 50 yards away, we do this. And then you get back your information. What did the guy do? What did he do? He went like that. And then we know he's 5.4, or at least maybe 6. So we felt open to approach him. We walked up, we interchanged, he bought a book. And so if you do like that, and then the people, they don't fold their hands, they don't look at you, they look away, you're below 5. 5 or below. So you're not going to chase him. Don't get in a rickshaw. Follow him in a car. Okay, so we invented this. Actually, it was an evolution, because I used to do it in the airport. Whenever I'd meet somebody that was bilingual, I'd have them write on a piece of paper what I wanted to say in their language. At home, I have a box full of them, and for as many languages, because airport, you meet all kinds of people from all different countries. And so whenever I'd meet somebody that spoke a different language, I'd figure out, what is that? I'd just put it down on my table there in the airport, and then they could read it. So what we did was we made that into a system here. Let's show the language cards. These, now notice it's on a little device. This one's on a little bungee cord. We have them on more sophisticated devices too, that have a little cord that goes zzz, like temple commanders wear all their keys and they zzz. So these are the language cards. And on these cards, because we're walking around in India, we have Bengali, Oriya, Hindi. What does it say in Hindi? It says, Kripaya dhan dijiye. And then same idea in all the other languages. So if you're going to an area where they have different languages, that's what you use. And what's this? Yeah. It's phone pay, right? So you have it all right here on this thing. And then the other thing we learned, especially in Orissa, is that whenever you're about to do something spiritual, you kick off your shoes. And so when we approach people, it still works in other places, works like a charm in Jagannath Puri or anywhere in Orissa, but even in other places it works. So let's see, he's approaching me. So first he'll do this, and then if I respond, then the next thing is he approaches, and he kicks off his shoes. So wear shoes that you can kick off. And then the other person, now you can really tell they're going up on the scale. They kick their shoes off, done deal. It's over. And then the next thing, watch what he does. He didn't say anything yet. Okay, turn this way so they can all see you. Okay, go. Just for the record, I'll show. This is an image that if you flash this image to any person or animal, especially monkeys, it's candy on a stick, otherwise known as lollipop. And there's not one entity in the world that doesn't look at that and go like, there's happiness in that thing. And so it's offered to Krishna, and circa 1972, Prabhupada gave us permission to use these. It was Batu Gopal in Cleveland, Ohio, who noticed the Salvation Army around Christmas time using candy canes to induce people to give donations, take books and stuff. So Batu Gopal went out and got candy canes, offered them to the Lord, and then distributed them, and somebody complained to Prabhupada. Said, this is bogus, not cooked by devotees, blah, blah, blah. And Prabhupada wrote back, and it's on the record in the Veda base, Prabhupada said, what is the harm? He said, all the time in India, the Pujari will buy some simple sugar candy from the market, offer the deity, give out the Mahaprasad. So he said, you can do it, and he said you can offer it to the deities for the purpose of Sankirtan. That's what the lollipop is. Okay, so first thing, he comes up, kicks off his shoes. I kick off my shoes, then turn a little more this way, yeah. Then, a little flare, or this way. Head, heart, hand. Here, I'll do it to you. First thing, I haven't said anything yet. Book. Now, still haven't said anything yet. All I do is pull that out and show them. And they can't walk off with it because it's on a bungee cord. They just show it like that. And as soon as I show it, hold it, then I do mountain pose. And this is the home of Iyengar Yoga, Pune. You know that, right? So mountain pose, as soon as you show them, then you stand like this. And then that's when they start reaching for where they go in the house or in their rickshaw or whatever it is, and they give the donation. And then we have a little card with the Maha Mantra on it in every possible language, and we show them the Maha Mantra in their language, and when we ask to chant together, so we chant together. And then, just for my help with the different languages, I'll say something. Homara sobhagya hai apse milne ka. And we've found that this is an infallible system. Those who don't know how to distribute books, they do it. And we were, in all our yatras for the last 6 years, we've been doing this technique and distributing no less than 5,000 books in a week. Just while we're walking around. And if you get this set up and you just carry it with you, attach it to your purse, attach it to whatever, and when you go out anywhere, you carry your books, you carry your lollipops, you carry your stickers, and anywhere you go, you just meet. When we get off a rickshaw, we pay the guy, and then we go around, and then we do the thing, and then he pays us back and takes the book. Anyone we meet, everywhere we go, we just present and don't mess it up by talking, because as soon as you start talking, then the whole thing gets derailed. So those are a few thoughts. Moving forward a little bit more. Prabhupada said, learn the great art of book distribution. And in America, it's a little different than what I said with talking to Indians. I'll start with talking to Indians, and I'll just do a review of what I said. When we distribute books to Indians on the street, we don't hand them anything. Not a card. Now, this lollipop thing, that's a little different approach, but let's just say you're working a table, you're distributing books to people in that manner. With Indians, we make sure we don't hand them anything. Because as soon as you hand them something, say, yeah, I'll get in touch. Or, thank you very much, I'll keep this, and I'll call you, don't call me. But when I meet an Indian, I make friends. I say the things I told you earlier about how you already know Bhagavad Gita, so this is not for you. When they see it in my hand, I say, this is not for you. This is for others, because you already know Bhagavad Gita, your mother read Bhagavad Gita, and your grandmother memorized Bhagavad Gita. And then I say, as you know well, and is better than I, people all over the world are suffering because they don't have the true essence of knowledge, and all change comes from within, and our external world reflects what's inside, and Bhagavad Gita purifies what's inside. Therefore, we're printing these books in languages for people who don't have it yet. We're printing it in Japanese and French and German, and we're distributing it all over the world. What's more, we're creating schools for children so they can learn Bhagavad Gita when they're young and help people all over the world. And so today, we're doing a fundraiser, and we're collecting money to help spread Bhagavad Gita. Now, you already know this, but so it's not for you, but it's for people all over the world who are suffering, and we just ask for money. And I find that approach, when coming to Indians with Bhagavad Gita, is highly effective, because as soon as I hand them a Bhagavad Gita, they start saying, My mother read Bhagavad Gita, my grandmother memorized Bhagavad Gita, and I know everything. So approach them by putting them on the Vyasa sign. Don't hand them anything. Indians love to give money to spread Bhagavad Gita around the world. And for that matter, as far as the Srimad Bhagavatam sets go, we've started, and we did a while back, we started this program called the Matsya, Go Matsya. And it's based on preservation of the Vedas, and the Bhagavatam is the essence of all Vedas. So when we're talking to Indians about the Bhagavatam, we tell them it's about preservation. We're preserving these. And it's just an anecdotal story. Just recently, Malini, one of our Sankirtan leaders, was distributing books, sets of books door to door, and she and a couple of the devotees. And man and wife, the wife was into it, the man was an atheist. He said, no thanks. And then she started talking about preservation. You may not read these, but what we're asking everyone to do is keep them in their home for posterity, so that people in generations to come will know what the Vedas are. They'll know the history of the Vedic culture and so forth. And the man said, preservation, that I can do. And he agreed to buy the set of Bhagavatams. And so this word preservation, when you talk to Indians, it also takes the edge off that I'm intervening, you need this, you're messed up, you got to read this. But if you tell them this is to preserve the culture all over the world, it opens their heart a little bit. Okay, this presentation is about selling a Bhagavad Gita on its own merit. And this is perhaps useful in many other circumstances, but what we're going to do right now is just stand up for a second and reach towards the ceiling and see if you can touch it. And we're going to say the holy name, Gauranga. We're going to say it in syllables, drawn out really slowly. Put your hands up really high and say, Gauranga. Down. One more time, stretch up high and say, Gauranga. One more time, but really do touch the ceiling. 1, 2, 3. Gauranga. Thank you very much. Everyone can sit down. How's it going so far? Let's just take a brief interlude to see what things you might have picked up so far, if anything was meaningful, if we're going in a direction that's useful for you. If you have any questions, I have more to present, but let's just get some feedback and see how we're doing. Thoughts, reflections, what one thing are you taking away so far? Yes, go ahead, right back there. The Mataji, right behind the tripod.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for your wonderful class. Please accept my humble obeisances as your aspiring servant. Prabhuji, my question is, out of compassion we distribute books to people and we insist them out of compassion. So how to identify that thin line between forcing and insisting?
Yeah, it is a thin line, and the soul or conscious beings are very interesting. Modern science can't do a controlled experiment on conscious entities because we can't control consciousness the way we do matter. And we can't even control matter for that matter. And so you have to rest in a situation of being equipoised yourself. I mentioned again and again how this is high sadhana. One of the main qualities that Krishna advocates for in devotees, or for everyone, is equanimity. Equanimity means to stay balanced all the time and not be overly tipped in one direction, not be tipped in one direction or another. And so when we speak to people and we remain equipoised and observant of what's happening, we'll learn a lot. And one of the things we can learn is about how their minds work. People accept or reject based on certain circumstances. We can also then observe what level somebody's at. As I'm mentioning this spectrum of 1 to 10, we can judge somebody, which we're asked to do. We're asked to be judgmental by the Bhagavatam. It says discriminate who's ready, who's not ready. So that's a process that the Bhagavatam says we shouldn't be involved in all the time. And as I mentioned before, if we learn to become aware of people's availability to us, to speak to them, to offer, we can work with that line. We want to help them in the way a doctor would help somebody, saying, no, sit down, I'm going to take your blood pressure. And do put your arm up, roll up your sleeve. We're going to do this now. So it's based on the idea that I'm really trying to help the person. And I would say it comes down to this, our motivation. It's really important to observe our own motivation. When it comes to the point you talk about manipulating people, of course, we are manipulating people just as the way a parent would manipulate a child in a sense. Of course, it's a slightly pejorative term, manipulate. But the fact is that if you don't want the child to bang his head on something, then you manipulate the child. You use your hands, that's manipulate, manual. You move them around the furniture so they don't bang their head. So similarly, we're trying to help people. And if we can observe our own motivation and see, am I proud of using psychology to make them take the book? Or do I feel I'm doing it out of a sense of trying to help them? Now, how can you tell that? One way is whether you're attached or not. Because I've observed this in myself. Once I learn how I know I could coerce people or use a certain technique to get them to come to a buying decision, as they would say in sales. And if they don't cooperate, and there's this pinch in my heart where like, hey, you're supposed to do what I say, not whatever you want to do, then I can trace it back to my own motivation that either I want to use some mystic presentation to control people, or that I'm attached to the result. But if you become equipoised and you say, whatever result comes, I'm going to do my best presentation out of compassion. And whatever the result is, that's up to Krishna, up to Lord Chaitanya, and you stay detached. You can observe that in yourself if you're able to stay in that position. That's what you need to do to have a lifelong commitment to book distribution. Because I see that when people become really attached, or when they become proud that, well, I really know how to do this, that's when they start losing their taste for it. So be observant, be curious, and be compassionate, and notice if you're attached or not. And the result of being equipoised and detached when you talk to people is that they'll be more attracted to you. It's counterintuitive, but the more detached we are from people, the more they want what you have. And people generally don't see detachment in others, genuine detachment. They see dejection, but they don't see spiritual detachment. So sometimes, like if I'm trying to hand somebody a book and I notice that they're starting to recoil, I pull mine back first. I think, oh, no, you're not. And then I notice, they go like, well, wait a minute, you were about to give me that and I was about to reject it. Give me a chance to reject it. And I'm going, no, I'm not giving you a chance to reject it because you're not worthy. And, that's what I'm thinking. I don't say that, but that's the body language. Like, no, this is only for qualified people. Sorry, you blew it. And then they're like, well, wait a minute, what is it? Can I have that? And also, when asking for donations from people, I tell them it's not for me. Like, how much should I give? I said, it's up to you because this donation is not for me. I don't need money. But when you give something in return for spiritual knowledge, that gives you a special qualification to read it. I tell them it's a penance, giving the donation. It's not for the printing cost. Of course, sometimes I say that. It depends on the person and the circumstance. So none of these are absolute. They can be adjusted at different times. But the mood and the general presentation I give is that this is for you. And I tell people in America, this is an ancient principle called dakshina, that when you give something in return for spiritual knowledge that was passed down painstakingly by sages over years, then it qualifies you to enter into the class. And when I say it like that, then people, they go, oh, okay, it's for me, not for you. But when you get in tit for tat, it's like, yeah, we're helping kids, then like, yeah, well, I'm helping kids too, so I'm not going to give you a donation. Or printing costs, so like, I can buy it cheaper somewhere else. It's not what this is about. We're there to accept your sacrifice on behalf of Krishna because we're authorized representatives. We've been deputized by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to come out here and take your money. And it even, like, there's an instance at Jagannath Puri, we have this Harinam in front of the temple every year when we go there for yatra. And this has happened many times, but I'll give you an anecdote for one time it happened in front of the Jagannath Puri temple. We were distributing books outside the Harinam, and one of the beggar women came over while I'm talking to somebody else and started interfering and saying, give me, give me, give me. So I turned to her, and I gave her a lollipop sticker and the book, and I said, now, you give me. And she looked at me like, wait a minute, I'm the beggar here. And I said, no, I'm not begging for myself. I'm begging on behalf of Lord Chaitanya. And I did my mountain pose, and I said, I'm not moving. You have to give. And it was back and forth, then a crowd got around. Because, here's an American, here's a local beggar. What's going on here? And so, I stood there, and I had full conviction. It wasn't that I was thinking I was trying to exert my power as being taller than her. It's not a physical thing. It was a conviction that this is dakshina. Even beggars should give. It's for everybody. Bhuktanam yagatapasam. And I stood my ground, and she's pious, lives in Jagannath Puri. All of a sudden, she smiled. She goes, you're right. She didn't say you're right, but the smile said everything. She pulls out her change, boom, and the crowd went, hey! Obvious victory for the principle, that if you're representing Krishna, even in San Francisco during the Gulf War or something, we got kicked out of the airport, so I had to go downtown. And there were devotees down there that were doing this thing, selling stickers and hats and stuff like that. And I took the books down there. The police were constantly kicking these guys out because they were collecting mostly for themselves. And they saw me there, and they saw, oh, what are you giving out? What's your angle down here? And they saw the Bhagavad Gita. I was presenting the Bhagavad Gita and go, okay, you can stay. You don't even need a permit. Because if you can come downtown and show these books, then we're not going to bug you. And that's a universal principle. If you just stand by the principle of what Krishna, as a representative of Krishna, then you stay in the right zone. Okay, one or two more? Yes. One. And you're pointing to someone near cool?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you
yes.
for the wonderful class. Maharaj, most of the times that we face is that in India specifically, that the person whom we are trying to share the book says, I already have it. And there are different ways to do it, but I want to understand from your perspective, how do we go about, pursuing a person?
Well, you heard what I said about how to approach Indians, right? So my mantra for them is, this is not for you. Say that? Yeah, and you have to keep saying it. This is not for you. You already know this. In fact, you know everything. And your mother read Bhagavad Gita, and your grandmother, she memorized Bhagavad Gita. And they're going, ma, 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 ma. That's what I was going to say. And once you do that, you preempt their mentality because you know what they're going to say. I understand their angst. And so I presented, I said, not for you, this is for others who don't know this, because and put them on the Vyasasana because you know more than everybody else. And we're coming to you because you're an enlightened person. And for that matter, when people say, you know, I already give, I already know this, we know, we were watching you. In fact, we were over here having a discussion and we saw you over there. We both said, you look enlightened. And you look like the kind of person who always gives and always gives to other people. That's why we called you. And so you have to constantly put them in that position. If it's you against them, that we're condescending and we're giving you this knowledge because, you know, really you should be doing this, but you're really messed up because you drink coffee, tea, and probably non-veg too. And then they're feeling like, God, I feel terrible. Don't make them feel like that. They want to, you know, they're exalted souls. They come from a background a pedigree that's exalted. So bring them back to that state of consciousness to help them. Once in front of Prabhupada's Samadhi on the last Ekadashi in Kartik, we did a yajna to distribute 10,000 Bhagavad Gitas in one day. And we had a bunch of devotees out there, and we just had one devotee distributing a book, and another devotee would hold a hundi. And so then, and our whole mantra was, this is not for you. And as we were handing them the book, we say, this is not for you. Now I don't even hand them the book, but I'll say, this is not for you. And they're going, well, you're handing me something that's not for me. I say, this is for somebody else because you already know this. And what we're collecting donations for is for the next person who doesn't know. And so that's the mood in presenting that I find to be most efficacious. And there was one more, yes. And two. 1, 2.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Some reflections. You mentioned don't be condescending and be grateful to whomever we visit. So I will remember this when I go for Sankirtan. In one slide you showed where attention goes, the energy flows in that direction. So while in the month of marathon, when we are doing chanting, many times it happens during japa we get a lot of ideas. How to do book distribution, how to increase book distribution. So at that time, should I focus on those ideas of increasing book distribution or focus on the chanting of the holy names?
What I recommend is one of these and one of these. This technology is so beneficial. It's an external device, and it won't get you in trouble because you're pulling out your phone while people respect people who write by hand and not pull out their phones because they think maybe you're texting somebody. And so if you get some idea that's compelling and you can stop it and put it in the external device, it's for Krishna's service. I can produce a verse about it too. I just read it recently, but it's I have to remember where it's from. But it has to do with chanting, and if you're thinking about service and you're not fully focused on the holy, I'm not recommending distracted japa. I'm just answering what you said. Sometimes when I'm chanting and I get an idea, then I say, Krishna gave me this idea. I got to write it down, because if I don't later, I'm not going to remember it, and I'm going to, for the rest of my life, be in anxiety. I'll probably eat half the khichdi I need to, and I'll wither away. If you have that sense, then you write it down, and you've got gold in your pocket, so it's for later. And then you can sit up straight and really lean into your japa, like, thank you, Krishna, you gave me an idea that's going to change the world. Okay? Okay, yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for such an amazing session. So just wanted to understand, Maharaj, that there are the instances when we meet people and they try to get involved in the discussion, but somehow at the end they feel like we are not taking it, and they reject taking that. Meanwhile, you had also mentioned in the presentation that we have to think around leaving an impression on the person whomsoever we are meeting for the distribution. So what should be our approach as a distributor, so that in those last 5 seconds we can able to leave that impression on who are refusing to take Bhagavad Gita, and at the same time,
It's an excellent question, because it happens to everybody. and I can totally relate to what you're saying. So this is a place where equanimity comes into place. We're not going out to distribute books. We're going out to leave everyone with a good impression. We're going out to test our equanimity in the face of various ever-changing situations in our interactions with people. And if you have that in mind, and you keep that as your prime idea, that even if you feel rejected, you can stay in that space of being equipoised. Now, I'll give you an example of why this is so important. When people walk away and they have a good impression, they'll keep it with them for the rest of their lives. You've given them something. It's not that you didn't give them something. You didn't give them the book, but you gave them something to think about, that they met a spiritual person. A few supporting statements on that, and then an anecdote. One is that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, according to the Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhav, had asked his matbasis to go out every day and knock on at least 3 doors. He said, even if they don't answer, or even if they close the door on you, they're still going to think, oh, a saintly person came to my door. That's not nothing. That's something tangible. It's very important. Now the anecdote. I was in Hawaii, and I was feeling blissful. And a godbrother of mine once, when I was complaining about management and how difficult it was, he said, there's one principle, and that is that you have to be blissful, otherwise you can't handle any problems. And that's your main job, he said. Be blissful, because then you can handle anything. So I was blissful. I was in Hawaii. We were doing these fantastic morning programs with bhajans, and then we were out on the street distributing books. A lot of honeymoon couples. I met a honeymoon couple. I showed them a hardbound book. I was going through it, and they said, we're Christians, and we don't believe in this. And I had already asked for donation, and they said, and we don't give to non-Christian causes. And I was so blissful that made me detached. There wasn't even a twinge in my heart at all because of the association I was having. I didn't think, well, darn you anyway, you took my 5 minutes here, or like, Christianity, you guys eat meat, or whatever. Nothing like that came into my heart. I just said, oh, no problem whatsoever. I completely respect your decision. What's more, I feel it was an honor to meet you, and I want to thank you for taking your valuable time. This is way more important than just money or anything like that. You honored me by stopping and talking to me, and I really meant it. And they walked away, and a half hour later, I was talking to another person on another street, and I saw that same couple out of the corner of my eye. And I finished talking to the person, and the couple came up to me and they said, we changed our mind. We're going to give a donation. And then I said, well, here, please take the book. And they said, no, because as we explained. And I said, well, one thing is, they don't allow me to take money without giving something in return. And say, okay, we'll honor that. And then they took the book away. The lasting impression that had on me was I got immediate feedback within a half hour of what it meant to them for me to leave them with a good impression, honestly. We don't know all the other people who walk away, where they go, but in marketing, people talk about how if somebody has a bad impression, they tell more people than people who have a good impression. Like somebody goes to a restaurant and they got bad service, they tell everybody. They'll put it on their website. Don't eat there. But if they meet a saintly devotee that leaves them with a good impression, then when it comes up, what are these Hare Krishna people? Yeah, isn't it a cult? This person say, no, I met this young lady, and she was so nice. It has to be spiritual. That's where we want to live. Otherwise, going out on the street just to partition those people who are taking books, and those are the heroes, everybody else is a wet rag. we can be more all-inclusive than that and think of our real win as leaving everyone a good impression. And incidentally, more people take books when you're in that mood, because you leave the environment in a pristine state. There's no residue hanging out that, oh, that person didn't take a book, and then it's in your face. That means your countenance changes because you're disappointed, you're angry, you're frustrated, and people look at you and they go, no thanks. But if you're blissful, people see you from a distance and they don't even know what you have, and they'll say, yeah, whatever it is, I'm going to talk to that person, because it's very subtle, but it's spiritual. So that's why in our presentation of the 4 laws, the first one is sadhana. Your sadhana has to be super sadhana, rounds, fully leaning into the rounds and so forth. When you have that, you come out and people look at you from across the street, say, hey, who is that? You know, let's go find out, that kind of thing. Okay, there was one more. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for the wonderful session. Generally, it happens in India, the young youth people, they say that instantly they say, I am not interested. I don't read books. What to do in that situation?
Well, it's always nice to have something for everyone. And we all advocate bringing prasadam with us. Always have prasadam. There's no reason not to have prasadam and give it to everybody. And also, keep in mind that you're not going to be able to distribute a book to every single person. There are certain people who are open and there's certain people who aren't. Some are ripe fruits and some people aren't ripe fruits. And so we're not in the business of convincing every person that they should take a book. We're more in the business of selecting those who are open to it. And oftentimes when I give a seminar or any other time, generally during seminars, people bring up a class or an incident that happens. And I ask them, is it 1 out of 2 that it happens? Or is it 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 20 or 1 out of 30? So I'll ask you, how frequently does that happen that you've met a person of a certain age group and they just say, no, I don't do it? It's a real question, not rhetorical. How many times out of 20 does that happen? What? The law of large numbers. Do you know what that means? It says that the more times you do an experiment, closer you're going to get to the average mean. How many times out of 20 do people reject you from a certain age group? Give her the mic. 15 times? Well, you got 5 perfectly good people there then. So go through the 15 very happily, because okay, now they're gone. Now, law of large numbers, there's going to be 5 that are going to take it. You get to the average mean.
In India, it happens with the youth. Generally, they reject, they don't want to listen.
Okay, let me
small
ask these
children
guys.
and grahastha, they listen.
If you're a grahastha, what?
Grahastha people, generally, they listen and they accept to listen from others. But youth people, means the college boys, they don't listen at all.
Let's ask these guys. What do you think about kirtan?
Kirtans are very blissful.
What do you think about Bhagavatam?
It is transcendental knowledge.
What do you think about deity worship?
It is worship to the deity? Yes.
What do you think about Bhagavad Gita? You guys.
I like reading Bhagavad
He likes it. Okay, what about you? Srimad Bhagavatam, do you like it or not?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The next 15 people we meet are going to say, I'm not into it. So you just keep going and you'll run into these 5. So it's just like that. You have to be a miner. Miners, when they're digging for gold, they take a pan, they're going like this. usually it's just rocks, but we're looking for those gold nuggets. And just as far as presenting to people, there are lots of comebacks you can learn as you go forward. People say that, okay, I'm a Buddhist. Hand in the book. Here, where's Sudhira? Can you come up again? Let's give you the... Always honor rejection. Honor whatever objection they have. Never counteract their objection, because then whatever you resist persists. So then, here, let me have a book. No, I got one right there. Okay, so here's how we distribute books in America. The way I make a conscious contact with somebody, I say, hi. Oh, look at that. Did you see the smile? Where was he on a 1 to 10? What? Over 5. That was maybe 5.2, right? I'll do it again. Watch him. Turn so they can see over there too. Hi. I mean, he can't help it because, but that's really close to a 6. Okay, so then I say, hi. And they go, California, where are you from?
I'm from Mumbai.
Hey, give him a mic too for here.
I'm from Mumbai,
What part of Mumbai?
in town called Ulhasnagar.
Oh, fantastic. I love Mumbai. And this is from California to my books on yoga and meditation that show you how to get free from stress. You've heard of stress before, right?
Yes.
Really? Because you don't look stressed at all. In fact, don't mind me saying this, but you look spiritual. What's your secret? Now, just an analyzation of what I did here. First of all, again, it's, either this or this, and then you look and you say, is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? This is 6 or 7. Because smile and nice open eyes, everything like that. Then I qualify him and say, I'm California. Where are you from? Then he says Mumbai. I say, I like Mumbai. Then I say, this is from California to Mumbai. Or you could say it inner city too. Somebody says, I'm from, where are we now? I know, but which township? Yeah, and then you say, I'm from this township, and you go to the other township. And then I say, I give him a little presentation when the book, now watch, it's making an arc. Books on yoga, watch the arc. Books on yoga meditation shows you how to get free from stress, hits his hand. Now, one principle of communication is whoever's asking the questions is leading the conversation. Not who's telling, but who's asking, because the question mark is a hook, and it's pulling the conversation in a certain direction. And so the first thing I do is ask a question. Books on yoga and meditation shows you how to get free from stress. You've heard of stress before, right? Because now I'm leading the conversation. I ask a question. You've heard of stress, right?
Yes.
And also, never ask yes or no questions except if you know how to go beyond a no. So I said, he says yes. What if he says no? You've heard of stress, right?
No.
He just says, because he doesn't want to participate in the interview. And so he says, no, my answer is the same. Because like books on yoga and meditation shows you how to get free from stress. You've heard of stress, right?
No.
I believe that because really you don't look stressed. In fact, and I wind up for this one, I said, don't mind me saying this, but you look spiritual. Now, when you tell somebody, like in the morning, if somebody walks out of their ashram and you go like, hey man, you look tired, how do they feel? Tired. They go back and look in the mirror and go, God, I do look tired. And if you say to somebody, you look spiritual, say it to the person next to you. How do you feel right now? Look at the room. It's erupting because this is instant self-realization. Soul, asango hyayam purusha, the soul never really touches matter. Krishna says in the 11th canto to Uddhava, there is no question of liberation because you were never bound in the first place. You're a soul, you have nothing to do with the material world. And when you say, you look spiritual, all of a sudden millions of births in the material world, the person thinks, yeah, right, I forgot, I'm a spirit soul. I'm actually part of Krishna. And they suddenly become awake in Krishna consciousness. And then so you look spiritual, and now comes the biggest question you could ever ask people. And this is where I told you, you put the person on the Vyasasana and you get down here, right? It's that, what's your secret? Because what you're saying now is like, you know something I don't know. That's what the secret is. And you tell me, now you preach to me. See, you're flipping the whole scenario that you're intervening in their lives and you're saying, you teach me. You're spiritual, and now tell me your secret. What's your secret?
I have good company.
I could tell. And that's when they give you the conclusion. Now, people in the mode of ignorance, they'll say they smoke marijuana. People in the mode of passion, they say they work really hard, they earn lots of money. People in the mode of goodness say they meditate, do yoga. And whatever their answer is, and if they say, I don't have a secret, then you say, you must just come from a good family. And say no.
I don't have any secret.
I come from a good family. Say that.
I
don't come from a good family.
I don't come from a good
then
family.
You must just be a natural. Now that's when I take the book back, because I already handed it to them. I say, I've established that they're spiritual, and then I take it back and say, here, I'll show you really quick, because they're thinking, is this going to be a Bhagavatam class, or are we going to be over really fast? So normally the book's open. I have a book that's open, and I flip through and I show them a few things on the back cover, on the front cover, a few of the pictures, for instance, the changing bodies. And then about karma, I say, you've heard of karma, right? Is there a picture of that yogi blasting out of his head? Here. Just find it. I'll ask him, you've heard of karma, right? What do they say? Here, pay attention here. You've heard of karma, right? Say yes. What does it mean to you? Oh, I love the way you put things. If more people in the world thought like you, it would be a better world to live in. You believe in karma, right? What does it mean to you?
A reaction.
Say something more off the wall. It means like butterflies and rainbows, and the whole world is a cycle. Say that.
It feels like butterflies and rainbows. Feels like a cycle.
Whoa, I really like the way you put things. If more people in the world thought like you, it'd be a better world to live in. Now I'm going to teach you this other mantra. It's universal. You can use it everywhere. Are you ready? Repeat after me. Whoa. Whoa. I really like the way you put things. If more people in the world thought like you, it'd be a better world to live in. So when you're talking to people and they pontificate, they'll come out with something, I know this, I know that, whatever, and if you ask them a question, what karma means, and they give you an answer, you go like this. Whoa. I really like the way you put things. If more people in the world thought like you, it'd be a better world to live in. And then I say, what do you do professionally? No, you're going to have to tell me. What do you do professionally? Say I'm a Sunday school teacher.
I'm a Sunday school teacher.
And then see this picture here? Can you see that?
Yes.
Here, I have it on the screen. What's your secret? Here he is. Okay, there's the picture. What do you do professionally? They say, I'm a civil engineer. And then I point to the picture. I say, really, this guy used to be a civil engineer. I'm a Sunday school teacher. I'm a dancer. We say, really? This guy used to be a civil engineer. This guy used to be a Sunday school teacher. This guy used to be a dancer. And I show them the picture. And then they 50% of the people say, ha, 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 very funny. They laugh right away. It's funny. And then the other 50% say, really? Because they're trying to be respectful. And if you say this guy was a dancer, they're thinking, I don't want to offend this person's religion. Like, really? And they say, no, not really, I'm just kidding. And then they say, ha, ha, ha. And right when they're saying ha ha ha, that's when I hand the book back and say, we don't sell it like in a bookstore. We only ask for donation. We don't need the money. But it's an ancient tradition called dakshina. When you give something in return for spiritual knowledge, it connects you to the original teachers who pass it down over many generations and allows you to enter deeply within the knowledge. It's called dakshina. And then they give a donation. Now, whose question was I answering? Oh, about the youths. Yeah, some people categorically will, in general, they may have a certain kind of answer, and among them, there'll be some that are more open than others. Like in a group, and you might be able to judge that they're going to say a certain thing, you can always find an exception because the soul is exceptional. How much more time do we have? 15 minutes, okay. A few comebacks. I already know all about this. Has anybody ever said that? That's great. I could tell by looking at you. It's like, this is honoring the objections. People, I already know this. Like, I could tell. You look like somebody who knows so many things. And that's why we picked you out. In fact, I get demonstrative about it. If I'm with somebody else, we were talking about you when we were walking down the street. You look like you've read a lot and you know many things. And they go, yeah, sure, I know that. And so whatever they say, then you can honor the objection. I'm a Buddhist. Oh, Sudhir, come back. That's what I was going to do and I forgot. Okay, so I'm going to show you the book and you say, and I say, books on yoga and meditation, shows you how to free from stress. I'm handing the book. He takes it in his hand. He looks at it and he sees Krishna there and he starts handing it back and he says, no, sorry, I'm a Buddhist. Say it.
Sorry, I'm a Buddhist.
Oh, sorry. Now I take it back. You never push it back at him because whatever you resist persists. So instead of pushing it back at him, I say, oh, sorry. And I take it back and then I give him the other book. Here's the Buddha book. I'm sorry, here, this one's for you. And I'll hand him the next one. So a lot of times when we're at a book table, people go, no thanks, I'm a Buddhist. And I go, oh, sorry, here, take the Buddha book. Here's the Buddha book. And Buddha taught, the body's like a house. We live in it temporarily, and we're just passing through, and desire causes misery, and so forth like that. And it's like this book for you. It just happened the other day. We were at a green market, and the lady professed to be a Buddhist. And I said, oh, sorry, because she was saying, no, Buddhist, Buddhist, Buddhist. And I told the devotees, give me the Buddha book. And they're going, which one? As it doesn't matter which one. They're all the Buddha book. And even the Muslims say, I'm Muslim. I go, sorry, here, this one's for you. And I say, Salam alaikum, alaikum salam, mahatava kifilaka, alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar. And then I tell them, listen, most people are so externally focused on the world, they forget that the real purpose of life is to develop love for Allah. And this book professes that the ultimate goal of life is to develop such love. And then they're happy to be able to appreciate it. So those are some comebacks. Thank you, Sudhira. Give him a hand. Okay, are you selling this? Has anybody ever asked you that? Yeah, okay. Then we say, no, we refuse to sell this. It's too valuable to sell. We just take a donation. So again, you're honoring the objection, saying, you're going to sell it? No, we'll never sell this. It's too valuable. You can't put a price on it. We only ask people to give a donation in return for their benefit, to be able to take advantage of the book. How much should I donate? As we say things like, we try to keep it under $100. But in your case, we might make an exception. We always say something kind of outlandish when the donation comes. Another one is, listen, there's no minimum, but more importantly, there's no maximum. And if you have a few things when you're interacting with the donation that you can just put out there, it makes it joyful. And then they're very open. Maha Mantra. We always teach the Maha Mantra at the end. do you believe in the power of prayer? This is a special question we ask in America. And if people say, no, I don't believe in the power of prayer, we say, great, we'll give you a mantra. And whatever they say, we have a card and we ask them, please repeat after me and say, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So I was in Canada at this outdoor mall. I met these two Africans, very well dressed. They were there on business. And I showed a book, and one guy was really into it, the other guy wasn't. So one guy took the book, and then I said, do you believe in power of prayer? And he said, yes. I said, here, I'm going to teach you this beautiful prayer. It's meant to wake up love for God in your heart. And I say, please repeat after me. And the guy who took the book, he was about to repeat after me, and his friend put out his arm and said, don't do it. Stop, don't do it. And I said, what's the matter? And the guy said, you don't know what's in it. He stopped his friend. And I was thinking afterwards when I was chanting japa, I was like, I don't know what's in it either. I mean, could be dangerous. Like Rupa Goswami says, don't go down there. You go down there, you're going to be smitten by seeing Krishna there. And the gopis say things like that in their mood of, if you look at Krishna, you get stuck. So teaching the Maha Mantra is a revelation.
How did you deal with those guys?
Well, I extended myself to the point at which I wasn't pushing them. So the other guy didn't say the mantra, but he bought the book. So the mantra is in the book. But my point is, I'll bring it to a point where I can still leave them with a good impression. I didn't wrench anybody. I didn't push them. I didn't become disgusted with them, whatever. As far as they'll go easily, then that's as far as I go with him. And I drop people really fast. If they express, like, let me out of here, I don't want to do this, I'm going to immediately step back. No extra, like, no, take it. That's just me, because unless I see like a sanguine way to engage with them, still leave them with a good impression, I'd rather wait for the pitch that I can hit rather than try to swing at everything. And so I'm waiting on the pitch. And it's a much easier way. Thank you. Okay, we just have a few more minutes. So what else would you like me to do? I can entertain. Yeah? Nirkula wants me to entertain people. How to increase Bhagavatam distribution. So this is a revelation, and it's based on the fact that we found a verse in the Bhagavatam that says, as all of you know, when you give the gift of Bhagavatam on the full moon day in Bhadra, then the giver gets the gift of going back home, back to Godhead. But even beyond that, it was Prabhupada's main book. And he claimed, when writing on the Jaladuta, that this book would revolutionize the world. And the book itself claims, Tadvag Visargo Janatago Vipla. This is the way to flip the world, the Bhagavatam. My godbrother, Akuranath Prabhu, is highly intellectual and guileless person. He always talks about how he sees the world, a vision for popularizing the Bhagavatam. And nobody knows philosophy anywhere in the world practically nowadays. It's whole hodgepodge. But even if those who know philosophy, if they're a little intelligent and they hear about Bhagavatam, like Radhika Prabhu, the scholar who grew up as a child reading Bhagavatam, and now he's a professor. You know Radhika Raman? Yes. Yeah. He, Boise, yeah. He talks about how his teacher, Sanskrit teacher, who was from another era, who could compose spontaneously, and he wrote 100 verses about Prabhupada and so forth. People with that kind of intelligence, they can look at the Bhagavatam and say, this is from another world. There's nothing like it. I mean, what do people know in general who are not purified, they're not studying anything to do with Krishna to get a Bhagavatam? They don't even know what it is. And so we're faced with that prospect. Prabhupada was faced with it. He knew this was the medicine But he had to create a whole context for it so people could actually take advantage of the Bhagavatam, to purify people so they can actually sit and hear the Bhagavatam. So that's our whole culture. We're trying to create places like in homes and in temples so people can come in and sit down and hear in a peaceful environment. And maybe they can only hear for 5 minutes because that's the only capacity they have, but gradually they'll develop a taste for it. So we're trying to inundate the whole world with the Bhagavatam culture because Tato Jaya Mudiraya, it's our means of conquest. This is the program. We're distributing Bhagavatam all over the world and Bhagavat culture to go with it. And that was Prabhupada's mission. So we have the enviable service of brainstorming ways to make the Bhagavatam more accessible to people all over the world. And it's the way the Sankirtan movement got started and the way I started this seminar. You got to pray. And how do you have to pray? Hard. You have to pray hard. If you pray to Krishna and pray to Prabhupada, please show me how to distribute Srimad Bhagavatam. They'll reveal to you how to distribute more Bhagavatam sets. The principles apply. Number 1, your sadhana must be strong, extraordinary sadhana. What's number 1? Number 2 is get books. What's number 2? Because we've done double-blind studies at the major universities around the world. What's the major one here you went to? ICC? IIT, Stanford, Harvard. They all studied this subject matter. You can't distribute books you don't have. So you have to get books. And the third one is, the more you show, the more you sell. You got to say this. It's a mantra. If you show Bhagavatam, you'll sell it. For instance, years and years ago, I was at the beach with Vijay Prabhu, the inimitable Vijay. You know Vijay, right? There's no one like him on the planet. We were behind a booth. It was for Rath Yatra at Venice Beach, and it was going to be the next day. So we were out in the people were in bathing suits walking past, and we were showing the books. And so every time he'd show the book, Bhagavad Gita, they say, I already have it, and he'd say, there was a set of Bhagavatams, which was like $400 at that time. He'd point to the Bhagavatam set and say, hey, when do you take the Bhagavatam? And I kept watching him. He said, we're at the beach. People are in bathing suits. Nobody's going to take it. That's what I was thinking. And then I got busy. He was talking to somebody else. I turned around. Bhagavatam set was gone. I said, Vijay, what happened? Where's the Bhagavatam set? Somebody took it. And he goes, no, I just sold it. Put a tattoo right on my mind. Always show it. You don't know who's going to take it. Don't assume. They're in a bathing suit. You just keep pointing to it. So why don't you take the Bhagavatam? Why don't you take the Bhagavatam? The more you show,
The more you say.
you take it with you. You put it out. You show it, and you just keep saying, why don't you take the Bhagavatam? Why don't you take the Bhagavatam? And you keep showing it. There are various reasons that people, especially Indians, take Bhagavatam sets. The top reason, the kids. That's the top reason. Because they want their kids to have the value. Even if they don't have the values, and you show them, yeah, but do you want your kids to have the values? And this is the pictures, the stories, and you show it. And a lot of times when you show it to the family, the kids will hold on to it and say, you know, I want this. But that's the number one reason people want to take it. And the other way to present Bhagavatams is to honor the Acharya in the region the person's from. For instance, Maharashtra, you would say maybe Tukaram. You say somebody South India, you say Ramanuja or Madhva, whatever. Madhva, he wrote a commentary on Bhagavatam. Ramanuja, you bring up the Acharya because then people are Acharya-centric and they'll appreciate. And when people say that, well, I'll get it online, that's okay too. Now we have it digitally. So we've closed that gap. And we sell the whole set digitally now. We just started about 6 months ago. But we also say to people, it's important to have the book in your house because it's a deity. And Shvetashvatara Upanishad describes the different parts of the deity. And he said, you know the signs of Vastu. Every object in this world has an effect on our consciousness. And say, what if you put the Bhagavatam in your house? What's that going to do to your whole environment? These are arguments or reasons that we present to people to take the Bhagavatam, but the number one reason people take Bhagavatam, would you like to know what it is? Okay, one person said yes. Who said Haribol? Okay, everyone else cover your ears, because only he said Haribol. Okay. All right. So the number one reason people take Bhagavatam, drum roll. Make a drum roll. It's because you show it to them. If you don't show it, they're not going to take it. If you don't bring it up, they're not going to take it. So just learn how to bring it up to people and point to the Bhagavatam. Be Vijay at the beach. It's like, why don't you take it? Why don't you take it? 100 times I'm going, this is crazy. And then finally somebody, yeah, I'll take it. Where's the Bhagavatam set, Vijay? I just sold it. So that's us. And the more you show it, the more people are going to take it. And it's very important to let people take the Bhagavatam into their life and then show them the Bhagavat culture. Otherwise, how will they ever get escape velocity to get out of the material world? It's impossible. Unless you progress on the bhakti path, you can't get the escape velocity to get out of the material world. And if they don't have the Bhagavatam, they're not going to have that capability. So we have to propagate Bhagavatam all over the world in every language. That's our mission. Okay? Say yes. Yes. But say it more enthusiastically. Yes. Okay, we have time for no more questions. Really, we're over. Finished. So this is an unlimited topic, and normally, in normal times, after this brief interlude we've had, and discussing ideas about how to distribute and why we distribute, we'd all just walk out the door and distribute. It just happens our timing, coming back from our yatra, we had a weekday and we had this morning time. We have to move on. But normally we'd all go out together, and we have done together here in Pune. I've been out a couple times with some of you, right? Last time we were here, we went to that Muslim market, and it was fantastic. It's ecstatic. You can't have any more fun than going out on book distribution. We go into shops. We found people in card games, and we'd interrupt the whole thing. They're sitting there gambling, and they go, excuse me, but I think you're wasting your human form of life, and isn't that breaking the regular principles? And so forth. And I mean, it's outrageously fun. Pune is a power center in the world. Take these principles of book distribution, it'll please Prabhupada. Develop courage to set goals and to then go out together on book distribution and beat Mayapur. Say Haribol. Haribol. Find out what they're doing. Make a chart. Should be a chart here that says Pune, Delhi, and Mayapur, and then figure out, use AI, whatever you have to do. Figure out how many books you have to do to beat Mayapur and how many devotees you have to get involved. Make a 5-year plan and then pass them up. Okay? Say yes. Yes. But I have to ask Radhisham Prabhu because he's the leader. Is it okay?
Yes.
Haribol. Haribol. Beat Mayapur. Haribol. What will it do for India if you beat Mayapur? It'll increase distribution, and they'll say Pune is now beating Mayapur. And how did it happen? Because everyone came together and they involved the whole community, and they excelled in book distribution and beat Mayapur. Hare Krishna. I will thank you, everyone. Thank you very much, Radhisham Prabhu, for making a facility for all of us. Thank you, Kanai Thakur. He came all the way to California, and we met in the back room there, and he said, please come to Pune. And when somebody with that period of heart asks you, how can you refuse? And thank you to all of you for all you're doing. Kids, thanks for participating in such an affable way. Kids rock the world. Get into book distribution. And thank you to all the devotees. Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki.
Krishna, we are very, very thankful to Vaiśeṣika Maharaj and Nirmala Mataji for taking out time and giving us this seminar. Since morning, Prabhuji and Mataji are here and they haven't had their breakfast yet, so they have to go now, and Pune traffic must have begun by now. So we are short of time, but we would like to thank Vaiśeṣika Maharaj and Mataji and request them that every time please come to Pune. In December, we have close to thousands of youths coming at one place, and if all of them can learn from you, it will be a revolution. So let us thank by chanting once the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. So Vaiśeṣika Maharaj has written many books. We only have one book today that's available on the stall outside. This is the 4 questions, a pathway to inner peace. And we also have a small video that we would like to show you here. It's a BPT publication book. So you please, while you're going out, you could grab a copy for yourself. Hare Krishna. So after we have expressed our gratitude, we also are supposed to say a short prayer, right? So our short prayer to Prabhuji is that the inspiration that he has given us and the guidance that we have received, the training that we have received, the inspiration that we have received, we will utilize it and we'll do better book distribution in this marathon, and we'll especially do the Bhagavatam distribution this time. Hari Bo!
We have some gifts to give out. Nirkula, can you grab a tray and give to all the Matajis, and then I'll hand these out to everyone on this side of the room. Are there more, or am I going to run out and cause a kerfuffle? Is this it? We have more. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. Vancha kalpadaruscha kripa sindhaveva cha patitanam bhavanibhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namahananta koti vaishnaviki jai. Free gift. Free gift for sitting through the seminar. Hare Krishna. Thanks, Kanai Thakur.